Every now and again there's an outbreak of a word, and words spread every bit as quickly as coronavirus. Like was a good example. Suddenly everybody on the planet was saying, "Oh, it was like really cold," or "I was like really happy." And then there have been outbreaks of other words like basically and literally. "I was literally amazed." Gosh, were you? More recently, people have started beginning every sentence with the word so. But the word that we're really in the grip of an epidemic of in the UK at the moment is perfect. Restaurant waiters seem to be especially badly afflicted. "Would you like to see the dessert menu?" "No thanks, just a cup of coffee for me." Perfect. Huh? Then I walk into the clothes shop. "Can I help you?" Yes, I'd like a shirt, please." "What colour would you like?" Blue." Perfect. No, it's not perfect, it's blue." Anyway, one thing that probably isn't perfect is the amount of fat I eat every day. I've always thought that if breakfast isn't comprised of at least 80% fat, preferably trans or saturated, then it's really probably not worth eating. There's nothing I like more than to start the day with a fry-up, some cheese, a little pâté, 2 lamb chops, a cookie and some ice cream with cream. Now that's all well and good when you're in your 20s and 30s, but by the time you're my age, you're sitting there waiting for that huge fat berg in your arteries to dislodge itself and give you a thundering coronary. So you start to look for ways to cut down. First to go the fry-ups, then the pâté, then the cheddar cheese. The problem is that one of the main sources of my dietary fat is butter. And the reason is that when it comes out of the fridge, it's pretty much impossible to spread it less than about an inch deep. And there's another problem with butter that's come straight out of the fridge, is that it's just about impossible to spread it on a slice of bread without destroying the bread. Now, of course, there are a raft of spreadables on the market these days. I don't think they're allowed to call themselves butter because, well, they're not really. They tend to be at least 25 to 30% rapeseed oil, otherwise known as canola oil, and you can usually taste it. The other day, I came across a gadget which claims to solve this problem. It's called the Alfille Butter Dish. And here it is. They cost £45 and come in a variety of colours. I went for the rather natty cowhide. Inside, they've got a machine washable dish for your butter. Now, when I first saw this thing, I thought it was just a butter dish with a fan that would keep your butter cool in the summer. But no, this thing works because of something called the Peltier effect, which is a phenomenon whereby an electrical current flowing between two materials will emit or absorb heat at the junction to balance the difference in the chemical potential of the two materials. And in case you're wondering, I lifted that straight from ScienceDirect.com. Anyway, the Peltier effect is used to make thermoelectric wine coolers and small countertop fridges of the sort that caravan owners and students use. The clever thing about this butter dish is that it contains some circuitry that causes the current to reverse as the ambient temperature goes up. So the butter dish cools your butter when it's warm in the kitchen and warms it up when it's cold. Now, I talked to the inventor of this gadget a few days ago, and he estimates that the dish uses about £15 worth of electricity a year. It's funny. If you say £15 a year to me, it's not an awful lot of money, but if you say £15 a year to keep my butter at the right temperature, well, suddenly it is. Except I guess it'll halve my butter consumption and help stave off that coronary. So perhaps it's a bit of a bargain after all. Anyway, to demonstrate, I thought I'd try this thing at a couple of extremes. So first of all, we'll pop the butter in the dish. There we go. For the first test, I wanted to simulate the conditions commonly found in our kitchen in the middle of winter. So I put the Alfille in the fridge and plugged it in. Here it is, along with a plate of butter I put in at the same time. Let's see how they spread. Well, first off, the normal butter, and oh my God, that is as hard as it always is. and difficult to spread. And next the Alfille. Oh, and look at that. For the next test, I'm putting the Alfille and a plate of butter in the boiler cupboard. We'll sit them here next to the boiler and let's see how they get on. These have been in the boiler cupboard overnight. Actually, I expected the butter on the plate to be running off the plate by the morning, but it's not quite. But it's not that warm in there. It's sort of like a warm room. Nevertheless, the butter has gone all shiny, and you can see that would be going rancid pretty quickly. The Alfille, on the other hand, look at that. That is looking pretty good. So let's see what they're like to spread. Bit of toast I prepared earlier. And I have to say, that butter out of the Alfille, that really is, I hate to say it, it's perfect.